Don't worry, Fog. We got a good source of vitamin D here, as in vitamin Dota. I like to say, courtesy
Exactly.
of Monster. I want to give a quick shout out to our one sponsor for this. We got Monster. I am sporting the Loca Mocha Monster Java. Little sips at a time will jazz me up and get me through two best of threes. So thank you to them and the support. Everybody gets to enjoy some more online Dota action and get through these days and these times. And I know you've already said you haven't been so in tune with the meta, so this is a good, a good shaking off of the rust, a good prep course, if you will. It's nothing too serious, just the Pro Series. We don't know what's in store for the future of DPC, but these teams, they're treating these type of events as like advanced scrims. They're taking it pretty
Yeah.
serious, but they're also being a bit, experimental.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
Hold on here. I'm going to turn on a little hacker setting so my camera's a bit easier. And
I saw like everyone's like I see these bands and everything and it makes sense. Like the new heroes, of course, still insanely powerful, we'll say. Ember Spirit's still a good hero. We'll
yeah,
probably still see like the Grimstroke, the Rickies. I've been like paying attention a little bit to some of the drafts, but I've been seeing a lot of games go pretty long, and I've been seeing a little bit more comebacks. I feel at least.
the games have been going a little long for sure. There's been a lot of effects, of course, with the new economy swings on, bounties being built up on players who get early kill streaks has certainly wavered
Yeah.
things a bit. And just, still obviously a lot of pressure on being successful in the laning phase and having good team fight. Team fighting always seems to be kind of in the meta. And I was going to say one of the big pickups right now has the Coddle. It gets the last ban there, but I was going to say if it was not banned, you're going to be looking at first pick Coddle like every game. People just
Yeah.
back on the horse once again. They love his team fight, his control, and his chakra magic. Though it was nerfed a little bit, still so damn good.
Yeah, he's lane securing because he just like refreshes the laning partners, like their abilities and stuff, and then he's super good team fight. Yeah, I've seen Phoenix a lot too. Like I guess it's the same concept of like the team fight. I saw he got nerfed slightly, but people still like him a lot. This hero, I'm actually a big fan of Shadow Demon lately. I actually think I've seen him lose a couple times, but he's neat now with his purge. They buffed him up a couple times, and like Force Staff is now purgeable too. So it's like Force Staff, Yules, a couple of these abilities that are items that used to be saves versus SD, he completely prevents. So it's neat.
Yeah, absolutely. I always felt that Shadow Demon was an underrated type of hero, but like you mentioned, with a couple of the buffs now, people are really seeing him in play. He's like ban worthy more often than not, and slid into a couple of drafts here and there. His save potential so good, and then the Soul Catcher is so nice to have to amplify damage on what feels like a very tanky meta too. I mean, we see Timbersaw here, but look at some of the bans. We already saw the Mars taken out. And I wouldn't be surprised if Centaur is going to be considered at some point. These big,
Yeah.
beefy offlaners have caused heroes like Shadow Demon and Tusk, too, to also surface. That tag team seems to be doing a lot onto these big, meaty heroes as well.
Yep. Yep. I love Tusk, man. Tusk, I think, is one of my favorites to watch right now. Tag team versus all these tanky heroes. Like, tag team just changes everything. It's like, yeah, they don't have enough damage. All right, they have damage.
I love it because I was not a sigil guy. I mean, my micro skills were only there briefly in Dota 1 when I thought I was cool doing like multi centaur stops with Chen. But ever since then, I haven't touched micro skills at all. So I wasn't even
Yeah.
about the sigil. But now Tusk is great. You just get that tag team early. You just poke at the core, the offlaner a bit, maybe that support, and they just can't hang with you. But we're not going to see him here, at least for now. Gyrocopter's the pickup. So already a ridiculous amount of team fight coming out. Gyrocopter and Phoenix. But I want to take a step back from just a moment from the picks here, Fog. We didn't really get to talk about the actual matchup. I'm not sure if you're too familiar with who's in this tournament. I'm going to hit two quick buttons here, full and groups. And if I did this right, bada boom, come on. Hello? There it is. We can take a look at the standings. And I want to get your impression on who you think is going to move far in this tournament. Obviously, Evil Geniuses are probably sitting at the top spot with the top seed. They are playing with a couple of stand-ins with Bulba and Ryoya, but we also have Thunder Predator looking pretty hot at 3-1. Business Associates, who are playing right now, are currently 1-0. Crazy 1-0. Quincy Crew, this is their debut in the Pro Series. This will be their first match. Beast Coast is currently 0-2. Furia 0-2, and then we have Cloud9 at the bottom, 0-3. So I think it's safe to assume
What the hell? What happened to Cloud9?
don't even get me started with Cloud
What
Nine,
happened to
Fog.
Cloud9? Wait, what the? Wait, who's that
Let's just
Cloud9 right
say
now? Let
that
me
they
see.
have yet to
Cloud9.
secure their first series win. They didn't get anything at Summit, and they have already dropped 3 series at the Pro Series. It's a lot of great players, but they have a lot to work on still. They're still trying to figure things out. So, there's still a lot of games
Highlight
ahead for them.
die, snaking, misery, ace. Oh my god, I haven't watched this team at. Oh my god, wait, what?
You know, you
Dude,
don't
that
need
win
to. You don't need
percentage
to
is
watch them
eight.
yet, Fog. You don't need to
I'm
watch
just,
them.
dude. I'm sorry. The thing that comes up first is win percentage, and it's 5.5%. I don't know. It's like a
Yeah,
little
they
bit of
have
a
one
yikes.
game win, I think, is so far. But
Oh.
we're not going to be seeing Cloud9 today. If EG is probably sitting comfortably as first seed, who do you think is also going to make it to like upper bracket, like the top 4 spots in this little pro series?
10
Ooh.
seconds remaining.
I don't really know actually. I feel like
5 seconds
it's
remaining.
pretty open. I don't know. Business Associates or Thunder Predator probably.
Thunder Predator has looked really good. Now,
Radiant
for
team.
Beast
Thunder
Coast,
Predator is pretty good, right?
Yeah.
That's what's it, Leo Style and Matthew, I think, right?
yep, yep. Leo Style
Okay.
has been looking amazing, like on the mid lane. His mechanical skills are incredibly impressive, and that team is just certainly going to be taking the number 2 spot or number 3 spot, I'd say, in this pro series. It's really unfortunate for Beast Coast. They're playing with a stand-in. They already obviously have a pretty
10
hard lag
seconds
situation to
remaining.
deal with, but I guess Hector in particular has a really bad internet setup wherever
5
he's on
seconds
lockdown,
remaining.
and he can't even play with the team. So not having Hector on Beast
Team
Coast has been obviously a bit of a problem for them, and they have yet to get their win. But okay, let's get back into the draft now. A couple of new picks coming out. We got Clockwork, and now
Ooh.
Wraith King picked up from Business. Wraith King, His Majesty, has been seeing lots of play. And
Yeah,
then
he
Mr.
got
Pro.
insane buffs. I saw like as soon as I saw those changes, I was like, and he's super popular again. I was like, and nobody's gonna skill their stun. And then I looked at pro games, and people weren't skilling their
10
stun. I was actually
remaining.
I was like, no, they're actually not gonna do this, but they did. They just weren't skilling stun, and that was
5
depressing.
seconds
Yeah,
remaining.
and it leads back to why like also it's hard for Beast Coast and Hector. Hector, I feel like, was like the Wraith King player for quite some time, but we are seeing it on a lot of the teams here. And already Quincy Crew have a core commitment in Gyrocopter. I'm curious to see if they're going to try to angle their potential mid lane core into something that can kind of help deal with the Wraith King, deal with that second life. Maybe consider something that likes those real long-winded fights, if you will. Necros have come out, Bristlebacks have come out from time to time. You know what also is intriguing is the Clockwork pickup. I feel like Clockwork has been hot or cold for a lot of teams as their 4-position option. A lot of teams, I think, go for other things like that Tusk or that Earth Spirit, but some teams still value the Clock. Do you like the Clock over some of those other options, or what is your take on it?
I think he fits in some games. I think versus Gyrocopter, it's always been like a tried and tested like staple, right? If you
Very
can
true.
get to the point where where you're able to like snowball, you can get on
Radiant
top of him.
team
You get the
best.
like quick ways to just kill him down. If you are able to farm a blade mill, I mean that's likely not the case as a 4 position. But the only thing is these 2 supports is you're going to be a little bit limited on team fight right now, right? SD and Clockwork. So the way they take the fights, but they have good in your face like Wraith King, Timber, Clockwork. Getting on
Yeah.
top of Gyro is decent, but Quincy Crew does have a lot of team fight that comes out from Phoenix, and the egg hitting right now not the best.
And they just picked up Axe,
10
who is
seconds
quickly becoming
remaining.
one of the best egg defenders in the game. For a while,
Yeah.
it was Mars holding
5
that commanding
seconds
spot.
remaining.
It certainly was a potent thing at my time over at ESL and through the early parts of the EU CIS region. But now they're actually starting to shift over to Axe, and I think even Will and Cap got into a little debate when I was watching ESL earlier about, do they find the Axe or the Mars better in certain cases? So here we'll get to see Quincy at least have their take on the Axe pickup here. And
I think that yeah, there's the offlaners are cool now again. Like it's this like Axe, Centaur, and like you said, Mars. These big like team fight kind of controllers that also have a point of lockdown. I like them. I like it quite a bit. I like seeing that from offlaners rather than you playing. I mean, we do see, of course, other regions. We have been seeing some other stuff. I know I've been seeing like Death Prophets offlane and stuff just
oh
because
yeah,
the scenario calls for it. But I like it when we see the traditional, big team fighters and
it
then offlane.
it definitely has those two kind of styles. If they get these nice,
Team
meaty,
back.
traditional offlaners who just need that little bit of a boost early on, and then they can, sustain for themselves, then you have that 4 position who's able to kind of roam around and cause pressure elsewhere. The other side of that being these more experimental, sometimes unorthodox, interesting lane, just straight up duos that try to just trudge through the laning phase with their unique flair and and
10
try to
seconds
get
remaining.
pressure onto the core where possible. But all right, final
5
bans to come out.
seconds
Business
remaining.
Associates fearing the mid lane Storm Spirit could be something to fear. And after Quincy Crew had already targeted an early ban on the mid lane, getting rid of the Evoker, we'll see what they
Dire
can set up for
team
themselves. They
pick.
do not have the last
Radiant
pick. They
team
think
pick.
Quap's not going to be a good one,
Monkey
so they pick up Monkey King here as their
Okay.
5th and final grab.
That's a lot of that's a good amount of team fight now with Phoenix as well. They don't have the best like Grimstroke ult synergy. Like, they actually don't really have pretty much any of it. But I know we haven't really been seeing Grimstroke like that for a long time. I actually love the Inkswell build
Exactly.
dating back to quite a bit
10
of time. Like
seconds
I think
remaining.
it was mostly, I don't want to say only OG, but like a year ago MDL
5
whatever, when they were
seconds
doing
remaining.
PA Grimstroke and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that hero just has so many more benefits than just the ult. Of course.
That's exactly where people are finally starting to look at it. I know you had stepped away a bit, but I guess in that time, people have been focusing more on the Inkswell than, oh, he's got a cool, oh, let's get Lich with it or whatever. It's been all about the Inkswell now. We're seeing lots of Grimstroke Rickies. Not so much Grimstroke PAs, though. I would love to see that in action. I feel like that could be something niche creep in there. But, yeah, anything that's able to get the jump with an Inkswell, imagine an Axe here or a Phoenix diving in or a Monkey King diving in. But, okay, final pick, Viper, something we never really see. It typically leaves a bad taste in your mouth. But here, Business Associates, they just have no shame at all. They're happy to pull it out in public.
Two fun breaks, right? I mean, it's
Of
not
course.
the best anymore because it has a little bit more of a cooldown. Of course, those changed ages ago. But that Wraith King set also looks pretty cool. But yeah, breaking Axe, breaking Monkey King, not too bad. I don't think I've seen Viper much, if I'm not mistaken.
No, really not. And of all the regions, I've also had the pleasure of being able to kind of scope. Viper is not something teams are typically pulling out. It feels like it'd have to be super niche, like maybe you're going against a Bristle or some sort of very scary tanky core.
10 seconds
But
remaining.
here, I don't know. It seems like it's just all about lane domination. Like they're hoping
5
to
seconds
put
remaining.
it as a core. It looks like potentially mid lane. Yeah, mid lane setup so that it just wins mid lane and wins hard against the
I
Monkey
think they're all
King.
about lanes, I guess. Like, because their team fight's not great. Like, Business Associates team fight is very lackluster in comparison to Quincy's, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It feels like they are relying on winning the lanes, snowballing. Brax maybe goes off on Hinge. Him and Moose and Fear and Nine go around and cause chaos, and then Moo is somehow secretly farming up, and he becomes the big bad raid boss. I mean, he freaking looks like he's out of World of Warcraft right now. He just shows up as the real, enemy, and Quincy Crew will hopefully not give it too much of the time of day, but I don't know. I feel like for the momentum they're hoping to get on Brax, I could see MSS also doing just as much work through the laning phase, getting a Blink Dagger, and then suddenly chasing down the Wraith King with his team. But based on the drafts here, if you had to be a betting man, there's no betting sponsors here, but if you had to put your fake chips on the table, let's say, who would you put down for game number 1?
I think I would like. I don't know. I don't like the no team fight. I think I'd have to lean a little bit on Quincy Crew because they have I feel like they scale really hard. Gyro, Monkey King, Phoenix. Like I'm looking at this 4-5 position, Phoenix plus Grimstroke as well. Later stages, even if they make some mistakes, I feel like they can recover off their mistakes. I feel like Business Associates, if they start having some mistakes,
Prepare for battle.
Viper's catch-up mechanic isn't great. Like Wraith King, sure he can farm really hard and fast, but I'm not sure. I'm a little bit torn and a little bit leaning toward the Dire at the moment.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, we get into it now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's our first best of 3 of the day. I believe it's like day number 6 or 7 of Beyond the Summit Pro Series action here. Remember, it's a full round-robin group stage with these 8 teams. They'll play best of 3s. The top 4 teams are going to move on into the upper bracket of the playoffs. The next 2, 5th and 6th, will be in the lower bracket, with the bottom 2 teams being eliminated. With the $50,000 of prize pool up for grabs, teams happy to take this opportunity to practice and maybe make a little bit of money on the side during these lockdown
30
days.
seconds to battle.
Let's see the laning matchup here. Caught a lot of attention at the top rune. Business Associates, they want to take advantage of the bounties early on. Unless somehow, some way, Wraith King can creep a bounty on his own, it looks like it's going to be 2-2 apiece. But
Looks like it.
I am not a mid player, but I mean, Viper wins against Monkey King, I'd imagine, right? I don't know how often Quinn has had the recent opportunity to go against Viper. I'm sure it's been a while,
The battle
but it doesn't
begins.
seem like an easy matchup. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I'd imagine Viper does do quite well versus the Monkey King, but I have seen, these Monkey Kings. I've seen, like, I've watched Thompson a million times. Just get your tree dance, you go jungle, you go farm around the lanes, you gank, you do recover. Sure, you're gonna be at a disadvantage, but you will be able to recover in some type of way. All right, see how this plays out. I've seen a lot of these Timber games too, where the Timber just gets too buff and then they just end the game.
Very
I've seen
true.
that a lot actually.
I've seen it both ways.
Like very early.
Timber can sometimes be that like feast or famine type of hero. If he's not able to get a lot going in laning phase, he almost can end up being a burden. But this is Brax we're talking about here, considered as one of the best by some players out there. Jenkins, to be exact. But so take that for what it's worth. But he is getting muscled down at the moment. SVG and Yawar, which has pretty damn good kill potential when you think about it. I don't know how he plans on leveling the gyro, but if you have like a homing missile, follow-up ink swell, rocket barrage, that could be a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, they're just not going to play the lane normal, right? Because normally, like, sometimes you would see that, but he knows that this Clockwork's going to pull. Grimstroke can't prevent it, so he goes for flak level 1. He's just trying to push the lane out. They know it's going to be really unlikely to kill Brax until they get that level 2, which they could get pretty soon. But yeah, we see that Clockwork moves. He is denying range creep. Gets it. He's happy. We see Viper, of course, doing excellent in the mid lane. And Wraith King also going to be starting off quite nice bottom, so.
Yeah, a nice little start for Business Associates in the laning phase here. It looks like pressure will be on Chaos to find a way to creep in an early advantage. MSS, though,
Brax
is getting in a lot of CS here. Brax, though, top. Oh.
He should go down here.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. He pushed it a little bit too far to try to inch a little bit of experience. Are they actually going to get denied? The range creep actually regen, so the top range creep is not going to get denied.
Damn you,
And
Jenkins.
Clockwork will continue to deny a ton. I mean, look at Moose. Moose is doing work.
He's been just holding the wave here the whole time. Just keeping the pressure pulled all the way back. And even though Timber did go down, when he comes back, he has a full wave to work with right under the tower. So it's a super awkward spot for Chaos. And SVG are going to have to pull it back. All right.
Big that Yawar gets the last hit, though, on the kill. Now he's going to have, what, 2 Wraith Bands finished? Yeah, 2 full Wraith Bands coming out. It'll be a nice little damage jump for them to be able to try on the first of that Timber Saw. He's going to start getting a lot stronger, of course, with that level 2 reactive armor soon.
We have Biver. Yeah, Biver's going pretty deep here. Fear stacks up some poison, gets a 4th stack here with the help of the disruption. Moose chasing from behind. I don't think Biver is going to make it away from this. He does not have dive.
He's going to pop.
Determined. Oh, he's forcing the golems out on this one, but he's not going to get it. It's Fear who does pop him. And now it's 1-1.
Got a little bit over aggressive there, but he did pull the Wraith King at least a little bit away from the lane for a moment from SS, but he does, of course, give up his life.
MSS is neck and neck on the CS with them, so they're each getting their own. So this is where I would worry that MSS could run up ahead. But 9 getting the solo kill mid lane on the Monkey King. I guess that really answers the question of how the Viper Monkey King lane goes.
He was doing really well on Monkey King before that, though. If you looked at the last hits, he actually didn't even save points for tree dance. He was just going with the right clicks.
It makes you wonder if he's just playing it a little too risky just so he can break even on the CS.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is, because you look at the build, he even went for the boots first item, right, that we mentioned, and then Orb of Venom immediately afterwards. So he's literally just like, all right, I have to commit to the 4 stacks, like what he's doing right now.
Yeah. He's just going to play it with the biggest of balls, like absolute on the edge for the hero, just to try to make the lane go as close as possible.
Yeah, he made the Viper use all the mana, of course, and then another Mango comes out, so 9 is able to finish that up, and Quinn has to be careful as a DD. But yeah, you see that advantage, of course, for 9, almost level 6, too. Very nice. MSS, like you said, though, is getting away with a lot, and I feel like an Axe, whenever an Axe gets away with something like this, it's always pretty scary, because this hero does take over games pretty quickly.
He is chasing down Fear now, goes for the call, tries to run him back, but a little too slow. And will alleviate the pressure. But yeah, like you're mentioning, MSS is getting one for his own in the bottom. It kind of makes the laning phase feel pretty stagnant for now, with top going pretty favorable for Quincy's side of things as they change things out with the rocket. It's mid lane in favor for Business, and then bottom being a wash. It's a pretty comfortable start for both fronts. It's really about the tempo.
Happy.
The tempo going to be coming out, like the Axe, and what the Timber is going to be able to do. That entails having the Viper get involved. Oh.
Quinn, see ya. Oh, he
Ah.
tried. Did he get a last hit even with that? I don't think he did. But
Yes, it does.
but he used the salve, tried to walk up, get a last hit with the boundless, but
It's got to be a real rough time for him. I'm sure not often that teams resort to pulling out the Viper to just really secure that strong lane victory. You know, we've seen other teams get something like the DK, let's say, to really have a strong mid lane and still push the objectives forward. But to pull out the Viper is really something else here from the business side. But
top.
now, yeah, both sides, because we have top and action mid lane here as they make a move in for 9. It's very close. I'm trusting you got that side of things as Yawar does end up going down on Brax. Unfortunately, nothing ends up coming out from the mid lane. But with Yawar being dove in a bit, what essentially happened?
They went very aggressive on Brax under the tower. He had had a lot of reactive armor stacks though, and he just tanked it up. Clockwork TP's in. They get a clean quick pickup on the gyro. Over aggressive play.
That was interesting from Quincy. They called to action 2 different lanes simultaneously, and unfortunately came up unsuccessful in both, if that's the case. Here we go, though.
Fear?
Yeah, Quinn going back at it. Dives onto Fear. Fear just dishes out the casual disruption. Moo, though, gets a shot, gets the stun. That slow from the Spirits is keeping Moo back.
Quinn, he's gonna live. He's okay.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
And
attack.
with Quincy crew rotating over, they managed to fend off business associates. But you can just feel Quincy are
more than gold.
not desperate, but it feels that way. They're really trying to scrap together some kills.
Dire's structures
God, this is
are
actually, I
fortified.
just see chaos over all their heads, and it's just,
You know,
it's actually confusing the hell out of me right now. I'm getting so confused. Okay.
Okay, disruption out. On to
Radiant's
Quinn,
bottom
who
tower
is
under
still
attack.
confidently
Dire's
moving
middle
in,
tower is
contesting
under
the
attack.
outpost area, though it's only 7
Radiant's
minutes in.
structures are fortified.
I'm loving what Nine's doing during all this. You see all this stuff's happening bottom. He's just like, okay, I'll just hit the mid tower.
Yeah,
Get it down to
SVG's
half
here.
HP
Like,
already.
I don't want him to have this for free, but Grimstroke can't really do anything to where this Viper's at. But Quinn has returned. And you're right. I mean,
I like
that's all
that a
going on. Plus, Brax is also, coasting away through that top lane. It was a little tough, a little sticky for him at the beginning, but, with Yawar going down and having all that time, he's now fresh level 6.
Yawar's level 4, Brax is 6.
Yeah.
Big concern.
And
Brax
Brax
needs
is
to
feeling
put the
it. He's
pressure
moving in. Yawar does not have the mana.
He's got the 10 stick. He's trying to bait something here, but Brax might just, okay.
Okay, he's got to be careful. Oh, he doesn't want to keep going. Man, okay, he'll just TP out. I can't believe Yawar actually got away from that. I don't know.
He really was pushing his limits right there. I don't know. That was
His body language, I'm sure, was even confusing to Brax. He's like, man, he's posturing up as if he's got something up his sleeve. I know he has the wand, but, are they about to call in a rotation or something? But that doesn't end up happening. Yawar just finds a little pocket in the trees to hide and has to, unfortunately, TP all the way back home. And that means he has a long walk out. He'll be heading back towards the mid lane, it would appear. But we also have business associates migrating to that mid lane.
I'd say business associates are pretty happy though. Like we mentioned, they drafted pretty much fully for lanes. You look like with the, very little actual team fight in the draft, lanes are going very well for them. So this is kind of how their plan wanted it to go, and I think they're, very happy. Nine's got that tower down to less than half. Top tower's going down as well. They're setting the tempo. They've got the big team fight team on the back foot. And speaking of big team fight team, doesn't matter if you have that big team fight. If your Phoenix is like, Phoenix level 3. It's one of the big ones that comes in. Gyrocopter, only level 5 as well. You won't have call down. You won't have your egg for the first set of outposts. It's pretty scary.
MSS managed to get to his level 6, but they rotated him to the mid lane. I think he was spotted out by a rocket, and nothing really came of it. So Quinn decided to go to the bottom lane instead. He'll take the farm from there. But yeah, at the moment, it's just the Axe kinda, has a way to team fight a bit with having the dunk online. But until he has a blink dagger or a way to jump, it's not going to be easy. So he's stuck running around a little bit here as he, even comes across moves. That's not going to be someone that he can even deal with for this time. So unfortunately, it seems a bit confusing for Quincy crew on what they want to get done right now. I'm seeing all their lanes getting like Brax owns top lane.
They just can't do anything.
Moo has the jungle. Like, who's doing anything? Biver's in
Yawar's
trouble.
not level 6. So you can see he's desperately trying to clear this camp. He's like, all right, I finally hit 6, but now I don't have mana to really take a fight. They need the gyro plus the axe actually to go anywhere to fight. when they have mana, but right now they don't, and they actually might just lose top tower as well. That is
Dire's top tower is under
pretty
attack.
painful.
It's not even a lot of kills. So if Quincy find a good team fight and scrap together a kill or two, it's not like they're going to take a huge bounty worth of kills. Because remember, it doesn't matter about net worth so much anymore. You know, if they took down Viper and Wraith King, even though they're top net worth, it's not going to hand over even that great of a bounty because, you know, they haven't really participated in any kills. So they're going to need a lot going. They need to get these level 6s. But there's that tower. And
They've lost their whole jungle.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a little bit of at least the Radiant jungle. We see Quinn down there, but he doesn't have the full-out farming build that we call it, you know, with your max Primal Spring. He's got more of a fighter build with the Boundless Strike and this. So he can't actually clear the camps as fast. And now his team's just got to actually look to fight.
Yeah, SVG and MSS try to work his bouncers to get their jungle back, but as MSS gets the Ink Swell, he just gets disrupted, and now Quincy crew have to pull off, but here comes UR looking to flex at level 6. But look at Business Crews. They don't lose anybody. They barely take any damage. That's really concerning for Quincy crew. They have to hope that for round number 2 it's better. He has the egg on the Phoenix.
He just hit 6. Yeah, he just hit it up. Gyro cooldown, though. Remember, cooldown, much longer CD. So still 60 seconds since he did have to blow that one for the retreat.
They don't have Monkey King ult yet either. So it's really just about the egg, and you have to hope Axe alone can defend it. They're really fighting. They know that this tier 1 means a lot. They do get the call pullback egg onto Brax. Good takedown there. Moose trying to run in to crack the egg. They are successful in breaking it down. Moose bounces them back, and they finish him off. Now Quincy crew in a bit of trouble as they lose Quinn to the pressure of 9 and Moo. Those two cores still battling out, but it's Yawar trudging in with the Rocket Barrage, takes down the first life. MSS waiting, moving in, gets off the Battle Hunger, but he's eating a lot of damage. The crits come out. 9 with the double kill. The Viper just pumps back, and Moo is back into action. He bought back, and he now hook shots in. They're taking as many names as possible, and they're taking the tier 1.
Wow, that was a very nicely set up fight there. 9 just standing his ground. Gets perfect breaks off. The Axe comes in, calls. He might even get some spins off, but gets Nether Toxined up. Can't actually spin when you're broken. And they played that. Yeah, they played a really fight. They danced in and out of the fight pretty sweet. They lost a couple of heroes, but nothing that you really care about. You got what you came for. Now they've got great control of this game with the Wraith King so farmed.
Man, I would say if Quincy crew just had one more ult or another ult, or, you know, like the call down was ready for that particular fight, it would be very different. Because I think Business Associates actually took hard shots there, considering the lack of ultimates and the lack of cooldowns that was ready for the Quincy crew side. They did that first little swing, and it didn't work out so well, and then they were stuck in a position where they had to use the egg. Now look at them. They smoke, and they just go right back.
They're eager.
On the move again. I mean, they have the call down now up and ready. MSS, you know, it's not like he has a Blink Dagger yet, so getting into the fight is still tricky. Quinn from the high grounds rushing up and over, but look at Business Associates just kind of reading their positioning, waiting now on the high ground. They can have Brax dangled out in front. They're not going to easily take down this, Timber Saw.
Oof. Great read. Business Associates are just reading the map super well this game. They understood exactly where that smoke was coming from. They had their Wraith King top. They have their Viper mid. They don't have anybody else positioned away because, you know, when you're playing with the Viper lineup, you don't want to split up so much. You want to be playing focused around that Viper. That's exactly what they've been doing. Look at this. Still all poised around that mid lane, knowing that they can just bring the fight right now to Quincy.
Wow, nice jump in. They actually catch MSS of all people. The big meat shield for Quincy crew. Finished off, and Business Associates, man, this come together and push objectives one lane at a time. It's working for them.
Set that pace.
You know, credit Yawar, he finds bottom lane. You know, a little bit of a safety net for Economy to farm up, while the rest of his team like keep business distracted. Here goes Quinn. He's going to commit the ulti here as they make the jump onto SVG. He takes it right to the Viper, but barely does any damage. Decides to pull off. And they had finished off the Grimstroke on the backside. Here's MSS now.
They're trying so hard to chase these fights, but Business Associates is just walking away. They're just like, okay, you used your stuff. Bye.
It kind of feels like the bully who's holding the kid by his head. And he's trying to swing at him. You know what I mean? Just like, stop that. And
the catch is actually pretty. We didn't really mention it, I guess. Until the Axe has Blink Dagger, the catch is really tough for I keep wanting to say chaos. I'm sorry. It's just I'm taking me a moment for to get used to this. The Quincy to actually
I
get on
don't blame
people.
you.
Like Phoenix and Grimstroke, getting the initiations is tough. You don't want Monkey King be the one to do that. So
Yeah.
yeah, for them to actually start these fights is a lot more difficult.
Yeah, he queued up a Force Staff for a moment, MSS. I was intrigued by that, but it looks like he changed it over to the Blink Dagger. They know they just really need that. I mean,
He wants it because you risk clockwork, you know, right? You're always
Yeah.
just like, I don't want Blink because I'm risk clock. I want the Force, but they need a way to initiate or to, you know, counter initiate. If Viper does that initiating jump forward as a Phoenix, he needs that call to protect him. Especially because it's going to be a level 1 egg for a long time, is what it looks like, and they're really starting to lose control of this game very quickly.
the potency of all their team fight just dwindles away the longer this goes on, because we're going to see Moo just get tanked up. You know, Timber's going to be tanked up. Is Timber even going to go for like something like a pipe? I mean, he has the cloak. Could consider going pipe to really mitigate a lot of the team fight coming out. At that point, it's just going to be really, really tough. Already we're seeing Quincy try to be a little cheeky, pushing any side lane that's available, trying to delay things a bit. But we could see Business Associates feel comfortable enough to warrant a fight their way, and maybe they do something like Roche, or I don't know, just get back to pressuring tier 2s, forcing Quincy crew to come out from the shadows.
They're strong. I think they can dictate the pace. They can definitely keep pressing forward here. And I think, ow, sorry, I think I may have just messed up my microphone.
No, you're good.
Okay, I just ran it over with my chair. I think the pipe might not even be a bad choice on Timbersaw. If they can just, once they get Radiance in pipe, if they do that, they have, I don't see how they can even lose a fight at all. And it's 16 minutes. He's got it finished up, and I imagine that's with the phase boot and the gloves of paste, yeah. So he is
So damn.
way ahead.
He's huge. He's huge. He's that level 2 ult. He's got the magic golden sword. And you know, when you get a good item, you really want to use it. You got that brand new toy. I just want to see how much damage it can do, boys. So there they are in the mid lane, pressuring onto the tier 2. They're trying to slow the roll. Quincy spread all across the map in little pockets, trying to farm up every bit of resource they can in preparation to hold the line, which, you know, can't fault them. They got a really good team fight. I mean, they could have a really good high ground defense. I mean, you got Gyro, you got Monkey King, you got an egg. Maybe by that point they'll have Axe with a Blink Dagger. It's really good high ground defense.
Does feel like they're going to, with all that team fight, it just feels like they're going to be lacking some damage because of how everything has turned out right now. But if it all does go into perfect synergy, you know, if they do get it all perfect, it could definitely work. And it's gonna be really up to MSS. Like, he needs his Blink Dagger. If he gets that, then they can look to actually set up and catch people who are out of position. Like, let's say someone is a bit too far up, they can actually pull them and catch them inside of a bad Wukong's.
Yeah, so you'll probably see Business play their positioning really smart on this. They could just have the Wraith King out in front. They'll keep Fear far behind with the disruption just in case. Also could have Viper out in front too. He's pretty dang tanky. I mean, heck, even Timbersaw too. They just have a full tanky lineup. So yeah, the damage. It's going to be a lot of fireworks with team fight, but will the damage actually do the work? We'll have to wait and see. Certainly, if Timber does finish off that pipe, I imagine it's just not going to be easy at all. Do you think it's even necessary for them to go for the Roche, or do they just keep the pressure and force Quincy to stay indoors, essentially?
Kind of just keep them indoors. I think the Clockwork can look for these pickoffs, the SD, the Clockwork, but the rest of the heroes, like, you have to be really cautious, because like I was mentioning before, you're playing with Viper. You never want to, like, you have to handhold this hero. You walk away from him for a moment, he dies, it becomes a snowball effect. You have a Viper lineup, you're like, oh god, my Viper's falling behind, oh god, what's happening? So you have to, just stay playing around that Viper, because this is a game where I could still see Quincy crew, like, 1 or 2, if they win 2 team fights, this is completely turned around, because then you have a Viper who's just set back super hard versus quite a good scaling lineup, so.
Right,
they should still be a little bit cautious, because you can see that Quincy, they're prepping themselves for later. Just try to get as much farm on the map as possible. They get a nice scan, actually, that catches the Wraith King coming down toward the south. Will save Yawar's life. And they're trying to do anything they can to cut some creep waves and get their farm, so they can take those later fights, because they do still have a shot. Like, they have so much team fight on their lineup.
Yeah, they have a lot of team fight, and again, Business don't have too many ways to break the egg easily. It's pretty much just on Viper. So if the stars align for Quincy crew, they could make a big team fight happen. But right now, they're Smoke trying to catch out some of these split pushers here. Quinn's in the lane, almost goes back into showing himself, but does spot out 9 and thinks otherwise here. We could be seeing
That
business.
could be the key.
Yeah.
If they get a pick off here, right? If they can get a smoke into a pick off, DD's right outside Roche pit too.
Oh yeah.
They will at least grab the DD for now. But this could be it. If they get a pick off, that's their succession into Roche, and that can be the snowball effect that they need to seal this one before before Quincy crew has a chance of bringing it back. This is just free advertising for Gerg. I'm not
I
liking
know
this right
they're
now.
pretty much just Gerg rejects at this point.
Yeah, actually,
and
like,
Gerg
come on,
is getting
guys.
free
You don't wanna
advertisement for his
advertise
Counter-Strike
Gerg.
team. What is this?
Come on, guys.
Unfortunately, they can't change their name as fast, and so they'll be sporting the title for probably the duration of the event, and we'll just be tested on it. Oh, but they
Alright,
scout the
just go in the rush
perimeter.
pit.
Yeah, they scout the perimeter. They'll
DD.
plop a ward down, some anti-wards, and go right in and have no trouble at all. Now there's no reason they can't just push the base. I mean, who's going to take it? It's going to be the Wraith King. No, Nine's going to have it. So they'll
Nine's
just,
has it, yeah,
they'll just
Nine.
have him, out front,
And-
sieging away.
Now their fight is super strong now too, even more so because now the pipe is finished up and the blade mail and the clockwork. So now it's a little bit scarier too for that gyrocopter, for the gyrocopter as well as Monkey King a little bit to actually retaliate back versus clock. On the other side, we do see Quincy. They've picked up some key items, at least the blink dagger on the
Oh, yeah.
axe. Sure, gyro finished up Ags, but that one's not that big a deal just yet.
All
That
right.
one is ramp up.
So is this do or die? If this fight does not go good with Quincy with his blink dagger, I think it could just almost be over at that point.
Yeah, I think so. They might lose the game.
Oh,
here.
he goes
Let's say
for
they
a
get
jump
the
early
initiate
call onto the Viper. Now, Viper does have that Aegis. He gets bailed out with the early disruption, and they reset. Slap comes out for the Monkey King, and Quincy crew backpedal inside. No significant damage yet. No ults either really committed yet.
Okay, they did throw the call down. That is 70 seconds still. That one's kind of big still.
He has it
They're
back up
just
and
trying
ready
to
now.
stop them. Yeah, stop them from breaching as best they can. Just spam everything.
Yeah, still
Hopefully
do
they
not.
get somebody out of position.
Quinn's kind of behind, thinking about a slower approach here, but it looks like business associates are splitting off. Not comfortable with this approach yet. Bottom lane has a little bit of pressure going their way that they'll have to deal with eventually, but it's not too urgent. But they
Good little
recognize.
back away by business. I like the way that you see the way they back together. Where Viper goes, Clockwork and Shadow Demon quickly trail behind. Even if he's just cutting a creep wave, hold his hand, because you never know. Like that hero dies and just everything goes to shit pretty quickly. So I like that they did back up. Even these little steps, I feel like are pretty important just in case, because you have to keep your lead like this when you have this type of draft.
Yeah, they definitely have the respect for their own draft and respect for Quincy Crew's draft, and knowing that if they misplay it at all, one bad catch onto that Viper, a sudden egg, and chaos could break out. And suddenly business associates find themselves on the bad end of a fight. And that is just step 1 of 5, let's say, for Quincy Crew to pull this game back. Now,
Yeah, it's still a firm, still good, good grasp, but just I gotta give the other boys a little bit of a chance because they still like the team fight is always one thing that changes. But business associates, they've covered their bases. They're following the Viper. They're making sure they trail, look for these hunting plays, and their warding's been on point. They put down these sentries and these key points, make sure that they can't actually get them dewarded. They're protecting them. It's been clean so far from them.
Dire's bottom tower
and
is
here they
under
come again
attack.
from business in the front door. They don't even have the full team here yet. This is just 3 of them. Drawing out Quincy Crew away from the side lanes, away from their farm. But no commitment yet. They still have time to work with. Might want to just cut down and keep that bottom lane pressured out a bit. Very annoying Quinn on the Monkey King. Continues to go for these side lanes. He's trying to build up
Getting
some
pinged.
side farm. Oh, whoa, 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 that was a little close. He's trying to get that BKB, but he's still got quite a way to go.
He's trying.
Radiant's top tower is under
Yeah, they're
attack.
scouting for him. I mean, business associates just kind of going on these little goose chases a bit to, keep Quincy Crew indoors and keep them in
Ooh.
check if possible.
Dire's
Are
Look
they
at
middle
Quinn.
tower is
They
under
put the
attack.
ward down this time.
Oh, Quinn
The
is
eyes are on him.
greedy. He's still hanging around like he
Oh,
wants to take
he
it.
knows it,
Oh,
though.
because the
That's
the
creep
tower.
wave they
Let him
chase
know.
for. Oh, the bouncing ball.
Dire's middle tower
They caught him with
has
the
fallen.
disruption. Hit him with the purge.
He's
TP.
gonna get hit by the
Cogs.
Oh,
He gets bumped down, and now he's in trouble. The Purge is
The
there.
supports.
The
And then
chase
in the
is
base.
on.
Wait, in the base too.
Oh, God. While they chase out Quinn, look what's happening inside. Quinn does end up going down, and he does not have a buyback. Yawar dropped to Moo. Does have a buyback. Could he be forced to use it because the Raxes are already under attack? Not the most significant damage, but once the Wraith King gets a hold of it, oh, yeah. He's chopping it down
That's
now.
good support play right there. You see that the Shadow Demon, the Clockwork, taking out the Monkey King, and held together, getting the base sieged from the support play only.
Wow. And Business Associates just jumped the opportunity now. Quinn will not even be here to defend the Rax whatsoever. And though Wraith King does lose his first life, more than fine to now segue up to the top lane and continue to siege on.
This looks over. This is definitely over now.
Yeah, they
Wow.
don't have a Phoenix egg. Even if Phoenix wants to get involved, now that Quinn's
They're actually
returned.
gonna back away? Wow, I didn't think they'd even back away. I thought they were just gonna back. Whatever, come at us. We've got round 2. I guess Wraith King ult's on cooldown.
The
Played a
Aegis
little safe.
just expired.
Alright.
But I agree. I feel like they're in maybe they don't even recognize how good of a position they're in. But 12K advantage. You got Moo way up and above it. 15K himself. Okay,
Don't need
here
to
we
risk
go.
it.
Jumping from
They've been
Moose.
pretty clean all game. Might as well keep the clean going.
Yeah. You got potential sponsors out there you want to impress as they burn on down the Grimstroke. Immediate buyback going to be there from here. Biver chunking on forward, gets the redemption kill onto Moose. Quinn now committing in with the full ulti. They spot out 9. They bail him out with the disruption, and they're trying to chase him out. Heals
He's
up a
holding his
bit.
ground.
Fire onto Yawar. He's in trouble, but here comes Brax chopping him down. And they
Quinn!
finish off the gyro. Quinn fighting in, gets the finish onto 9. It costs his own life, but this time he does have a buyback. The Phoenix committing the egg. Quincy crew fending off Business Associates, chasing down Moo, making him take a knee as he goes down. That's a 3-times kill streak. And we're not done yet. On the chase for fear, Quinn with the boundless strike, and it's 4 members of Business Associates to fall. The first swing fight for Quincy crew. It costs them 3 buybacks, but they get the advantage.
Okay, I mentioned clean. Associates decide to take a little bit of a risky route. Get
Wow.
punished. Okay, that's a little bit of something. How much gold swing is it? It's probably not that much. I'm looking more. Those type of fights are more. You're not looking at the gold swing. It's more. Did they get enough experience for it to really matter?
Radiant's middle tower is under
Because that was a tough position for them to really get too much of a gold swing back, and it's not really looking like it. Still gonna be tough when these do all respawn here on Business Associates if they just group up and go again here. Because I don't see. Yeah, they didn't finish anything big off that, right? No. BKBs are still not at the ready.
I can't help but wonder if Business Associates didn't press their advantage hard enough while they did have that Aegis and they were pushing that like top lane. I think they could have just done a little bit more, but because they held off and then they awkwardly danced around the secret shop neighborhood while not having an Aegis and not being close. It felt like Brax even showed up a bit late. He just was not around and ready. So, props to Quincy crew there. They recognize that. Jump in and just go full force, recognizing that it is pretty much a do-or-die situation. It doesn't get much better than that. No Aegis. They're apart. Go in, give it our all, and they did it. So now they're rewarded. They get a new breath of life, but they're still running on low oxygen. They got the tank. They're that guy pulling around the tank. They need more.
Yeah, still a really tough scenario. There's no BKBs finished up, and you see immediately. I think Business Associates know that was a little bit of a hiccup, but that's just a small little bump in the road. There's still a pretty clear shot to them for here, as if they just stay grouped together. Yeah, they're gonna do that. Moo, he even has the BKB queued up, so super safe play on the Wraith King if he does choose to go for that. Same thing with the Viper. And you see Quincy is just, they're desperate to try to get any type of extra space here to get them that extra finished up item. Just finish the BKB so they can at least try to take a bit of a better fight. But they're still lacking in damage heavily.
The BKBs are definitely a big thing, and they are frantic to try to farm what's available to them to try to secure it out. Certainly so for Gyro. He's just about 200 gold away, and he'll have it. Maybe in Business Associates' interest to just continue to play do-si-do around the lanes until Roche comes back, I guess. It will respawn in just about 1 minute's time, so we could see them now, already heading up into Quincy Crew's jungle. Go for some potential D-wards here and try to take a Roche. But gotta say, Quincy Crew have a lineup that could fight into Roche, and that could be problems for business if they don't, they're not ready for it.
This Wraith King is just, I just feel like he's too fat at the moment. That's the scary thing. He's got his Basher now. Actually, went for the Basher instead of the BKB. Okay. Still, he's still immensely strong Wraith King. As you see that net worth, he's almost like double. He's 2 of the cores put together pretty much on the side of Quincy. But yeah, their team fight is still strong. Just this Roche is gonna die quite quickly. It's in 20 seconds. Don't know if they're even gonna be able to clear the area or clear the waves that are pushing in onto their side in time.
He even has the spider legs also, so his mobility to get out or get into a pinch is really nice. And I noticed now, yeah, Mindbreaker onto the Viper. That's got to be a great pick for the Viper. That first hit silence on that range attack will be pretty swell. Do you have a particular favorite neutral item as of recent that you get in a particular game? I think I've heard BSJ talk about the Faded Brooch way too much. He loves the Brooch.
I don't know. Spider legs are
yeah.
the most enjoyable and probably have saved me more than any other item when I really think about it. Like, other ones have gotten me kills and stuff like that, but like the spider legs have literally just like, I'm dead, 100% dead, and I'm like, oh, walk down a cliff. All right, I'm cool.
As a support, I'm a big fan of the Philosopher's Stone, the free GPM, as MSS looking to get a couple extra GPM points into his pocket here. A good setup jump onto Moose. Moose is just the bodyguard for the Roche Pit. Fear wants to save him. Gets a disruption. He walks out, and he's good for now. He is hit with the Battle Hunger. But MSS now under the gun. Here comes the Chakram. They cut him up, and Axe goes down. Does have a buyback. One of the few buybacks I imagine remaining here for Quincy Crew as the King.
Run.
He is running. He is spider-legging his way on forward. He's like, I'm going to have to settle for this guy? All right. Bah! Get the hell out of here. Chops down SVG unmercifully. Oof. And no Grimstroke for 60 seconds. Take that for what you will. And now the pressure is back to the top lane. Let's see what they got. They got Phoenix Egg. They got the Monkey King ult. They do not have call down. But
they're just watching.
But they're watching.
They can't. These frontliners are they're too beefy. Too much HP.
If they try to go on one, the other two are just going to be right there, ready to get them. They've got boys, and it's tough. I think Quincy know that it's going to be all or nothing on the final set. But the laning setup that business associates have built up for themselves proves to just be the formula for success, at least in game number 1. As now the jump comes out, Abyssal blink in, and MSS just fully locked down from that bash hit, from that hook shot, can't do anything, now has to use his buyback. Quinn caught on the outside, has that BKB now, pops it, commits the ulti, but everybody runs right out of the circle. Phoenix Egg now getting committed, they move in to right-click it down, and that egg is... Oh, beautiful set from MSS, calls him away from the egg, and that means it's going to go off and stun them down, but where's the damage? Can they finish it off? 9, very low, dunked on. MSS picks that one up. Yawar trucking on through with the BKB. Can Quincy Crew hold the line somehow? Moo, very low, still has his ult. Abyssal strike in. They finish off Biver. Biver now with his own buyback. And Business Associates pulling back a bit to grab MSS and finish him off. Moo's still low, but they haven't finished him off. Same goes for Moose.
You know, if they weren't 18,000 gold behind there, I think that actually would have been a pretty sick fight for them to come back on.
Yeah.
But everyone's too tanky.
Too big.
They do get the Viper.
Too bad.
But it was, I mean, they finally get the combo off protecting the egg. But I think after the laning phase, I think they just fell so far behind so fast in this game. And then they lost. I think that window where it sucks to say so early, but Yawar dying top. And this Timber getting level 6 and then bullying the Gyro out of lane, I feel like that set the whole tempo for everything. Because Gyro, he's level 5, they're losing their top tier 2 and they're losing their mid tier 1, and Gyro's hitting jungle creeps trying to desperately get level 6, and they just can't fight. And then it's a snowball effect overall. I think Business Associates, they played their draft really nicely.
Yep, and playing the draft to build out those strong lanes, it looked pretty nice at first, but yeah, ultimately that just seemed to be the big ticket. We don't get to see Viper too often, but there you can see. Yeah. I'm trying to remember now, though. Was Monkey King not the last pick? I want to say No, I guess maybe the Viper was the last pick. If it was a very dirty 10th pick counter, and proved out to be very, very good here. Um, yeah, I don't know really what else to say about it. It felt like, we had said it from the draft, and we liked Quincy Cruz's lineup because when it came to team fights, it just had a little bit of everything. So if they were able to hang on the laning phase, they could really make it work. But while Business Associates clearly focused on lanes, not focused on team fight, focused on just building success and rolling forward, I mean, it seems like they just kind of executed that to a T.
Yeah,
Any
definitely
closing
agree.
thoughts
They tanked
for
up. I
so-
like that they like the way they synergized their draft. Like they picked these tanky frontline heroes. They picked a save in the back. They picked like 2 heroes that could catch. And I mean, I think just from the lanes that they played the lanes super nice. Viper crushed mid. Top went really well. Bottom as the bottom lane is usually supposed to do well. That one did well too. So all 3 lanes went really well, and that's key to success.
Yes, it is. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. What we're going to do now is cut to a break, and when we come back, it's going to be time for game number 2 of Beyond the Summits Pro Series Americas. We'll see you soon.